All right, let's just jump right in. Look, we've all been there, right? The late nights, the pressure building up, that feeling that your entire future is riding on this one test. Yeah, exam season is, well, it's super stressful. But what if I told you there's a game plan, a clear step-by-step strategy to not just get through it, but to actually master it?
So how do you do that? How do you turn all that stress into actual success? Well, here's the thing. It's not really about studying harder. It's about studying smarter. It's about performing better when the pressure is on. And that's exactly what we're going to break down here, a proven strategy to flip that anxiety into pure confidence.
So here's our roadmap, and it's super simple, just 3 parts that cover everything. First up, the preparation, everything you do before the test. Then performance, the strategies for during the test. And finally, progress, the really important lessons you learn after the test. Prepare, perform, progress. Simple as that. Let's do it.
Okay, so part 1, the preparation. Honestly, this is where the real work gets done. Your success in the exam room, it's pretty much decided by the foundation you build in the days and weeks leading up to it. This is not about last-minute cramming, not at all. It's about building a rock-solid base of knowledge and, just as important, confidence.
So what does good revision even look like? Well, you can think of it as being built on 3 main pillars, and they all have to work together. First, you've got to understand the material, like really get the why behind it all. Then you have to memorize the key info, the facts, the formulas, the definitions, and you really can't have one without the other. And finally, the third pillar, you need to be able to apply what you know to solve problems you haven't seen before. That whole cycle, that's what builds real mastery.
And I really want to pause on this because it's so important. Understanding and memorizing are 2 totally different things. You can memorize a physics formula perfectly, but have no clue why it works. On the flip side, you can get the general concept but not remember any of the specific details you need to actually solve the problem. A winning strategy means you have to tackle both on purpose. Okay, so that naturally leads to the big question, right? What's the best way to study? Do you go it alone? Do you study with a group? Or do you get a coach or a tutor? The real answer is, well, it depends. They all have their pros and cons.
Let's break them down. Studying alone, it's great for building self-reliance, for sure. But you can get stuck on a problem with no one to help you out. Studying in a group, awesome for bouncing ideas off people, but let's be real, it can turn into a pizza party pretty fast. And a coach? They can get you to that aha moment really quickly, but you might start depending on them too much. The real trick is knowing when to use each method.
But at the end of the day, it really all comes down to this idea from Thomas Edison. There are just no shortcuts, It's all about the consistent, focused work, the perspiration, as he called it. That hard work is what builds not just knowledge, but the unshakable confidence you need when you walk into that room. Okay, part 2, performance. So, you've put in the hours, you've prepared. Now, you're sitting at the desk, the door closes, the clock starts ticking. This part isn't just about what you know anymore. It's about how well you can perform when it counts. It's game time.
And there's this great quote from Sun Tzu that totally changes how you should think about this. An exam isn't some enemy you have to fight head on. No, it's a strategic puzzle you have to outsmart. You've already done the heavy lifting. Now it's all about calm, smart execution. Now listen, this is absolutely crucial. The first 20 minutes of an exam can make or break you. Do not start with the hardest question. That's a classic mistake. Instead, scan the test, find the easiest question, the one you know you can nail, and do that first. Get an easy win. Get some points on the board. It's a huge psychological boost that builds momentum and calms your nerves for the tougher stuff to come.
But what if the absolute worst happens? You're staring at a question, you've studied this chapter a dozen times, you know the answer, but nothing. Your mind is just blank. It's a panic-inducing moment, for sure. But there is a way to handle it. So, what do? First rule, don't panic. Seriously. Try to recall the context. Where were you sitting when you learned this? What color was the highlighter you used? If that's not working, just stop. Put your pen down. Take a deep breath. Let your mind relax for a second. And here's a cool trick. Try to remember the feeling you had when you first understood it, that little aha moment. Sometimes the emotion is the key that unlocks the information.
And this is where this idea from Darwin comes in, and it's perfect for exams. The questions on the test, they're probably not going to look exactly like the ones you practiced. The goal here isn't just to spit back fact you've memorized. It's to be adaptable, to take what you know and apply it to a new, unfamiliar problem. That flexibility, that's what separates a good student from a great one.
Okay, you hand in the test, you walk out of the room. Phew, it's over, right? Well, not quite. The third and final phase of this whole process happens after you get that test back. And trust me, this is where some of the most powerful learning happens.
Look, when you get that grade back, it's going to go one of two ways. If you did great, awesome. Celebrate that. You absolutely earned it. Just don't get cocky. Don't get overconfident. But what if the result isn't what you wanted? It's okay to be bummed out for a bit, but don't stay there. The real test of character is having the courage to look at what went wrong and figure out why. This is the whole mindset, right here. Nelson Mandela said it perfectly. It's not about winning or losing. There is no losing. You either win or you learn. That's it. Every single result, good or bad, is just feedback. It's a chance to get better. Thinking that way, it changes everything.
So, the real reason to look at your results isn't about the number at the top of the page. It's about doing a post-mortem, an audit. You need to go through that test with a fine-tooth comb. Figure out exactly what you got wrong. Understand why the right answer is right, and pinpoint the root cause. Was it something you didn't understand, a fact you forgot, or did you just struggle to apply the knowledge? Every test becomes a blueprint for your next victory.
So when you put all three of these pieces together, the preparation, the performance, and the progress, what you end up with is so much more than just a few study tips. It's a system. It's a complete mindset for winning that you can apply to pretty much any challenge, way beyond just exams.
And really, who said it better than Michael Jordan? Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, but others make it happen. And that's the difference. Success isn't about hoping for a good grade. It's about having a plan and the discipline to follow it, from day one of studying all the way through to analyzing your results.
Which brings us to the final, most important question, and this one's for you. After hearing all this, what's the one thing, the very first thing, you're going to change about how you get ready for your next test? Are you going to start separating understanding from memorizing? Are you going to practice that mind goes blank technique? Or are you going to get serious about reviewing your results? Whatever it is, what's your first step? Because that's where it all begins.